will hopefully come up here, right? And afterwards, okay, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just excited I'll get a chance to take pictures with everybody. I have to admit, I am very nervous. Well, first of all, I grew up in New York City, so we're all kind of neighbors, probably, in some way. So this is particularly exciting to be doing my first book release and first ever book signing here, which is very cool for me. So, and thank you all for making it so incredible. I really didn't know if it was just going to be the front 2 rows of my family, or if people would show up. So this is really a treat. Anyway, I imagine a lot of people here know me from my TV show, and I'm very proud of that. This is sort of the next thing in my life that I've done that I'm really proud of. The documentary I was proud of as well, but Catfish has sort of been my life for the last 4 years, or 3 years, and will continue, which I'm excited about. And this is sort of my next thing. I was not a very good student growing up. I don't know if everybody here is, I hope you are. But reading was always hard for me, so it's kind of crazy that I wrote a book, because I can probably count on my fingers and toes how many books I've actually really read, which I know sounds kind of lame, and it is. But I've lived a life of experience, and I hopefully have shared a lot of that, and I've started reading a lot more now too. But I wanted to just do a little reading from this, which you guys will get to, from chapter 17. This is so strange, I can't believe I'm reading my book to people. Okay, so really, let's just do this. Alright. I come from a long line of practical jokers and goofballs. Just one example. My grandfather Marvin used to think it was funny when women put on lipstick at the table after the meal was over. I'm sure you guys have seen that happen. So one night after dinner at a restaurant, when the wives all pulled out their compacts to touch up their makeup, he whipped out his electric razor and started buzzing his beard right there at the dinner table. My Uncle Michael is cut from the same cloth. Sit near him at a restaurant, and at any moment you might expect a bread roll to come whizzing by your head. Once at a fancy fundraiser, he thought it would be funny to slip the expensive silverware into the purse of a woman sitting next to him, who happened to be of some royal European descent, and pretend she'd stolen it. Unfortunately, the forks and knives had already been used, and they ruined her incredibly expensive silk purse. She was not amused. When I was growing up, Michael's wife, my Aunt Candy, was constantly scolding him about his antics, and yet she always seemed to forgive him. No matter how badly he screwed up, it didn't seem to negatively affect their marriage. I always wondered, how did he get away with it? Finally, when I was 12, I asked him, the secret to his ability to get away with murder? Never forget these words. I'm sorry, I was wrong, he told me. It's just 5 words, and they will end any argument every time, especially an argument with a woman. It doesn't matter what you're fighting about, or even if you know you're right. If you want to release the tension and move forward, just say it. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I took his advice to heart and began a long and illustrious career as a profligate apologizer. I had to apologize for a lot. I got in a tremendous amount of trouble. I was constantly making mistakes, and after my uncle clued me into his secret, I began apologizing constantly. It was my automatic response to any mistake I made, my get-out-of-jail-free card. I guess I did something wrong because you're unhappy and I'm in trouble. So, I'm sorry. Now we're all square, right? I said what I'm supposed to say, and that's it. I soon mastered the art of the apology. How to articulately state what I'd done wrong, say that I was sorry, and convince whoever was mad at me that I had learned my lesson and felt really terrible about it. I apologized to my friends, my teachers, my family, even the police when I had to. I could convince almost anyone that I was sorry and that I wouldn't do it again. Right up until the moment that I would do it again. I'd play the part of the repentant screw-up until the curtain dropped, and then I'd be right back at it. It was as if I'd had my fingers perpetually crossed behind my back. I was the most disingenuous person that I knew. I wasn't really sorry. I didn't really regret it, and my remorse was totally false. For a long time, my uncle's advice seemed to work, until finally, during one of the most critical moments in my life, when I punched my best friend in the face, it didn't. Mark was in the hospital with his skull cracked open. It was totally my fault. Everyone was upset with me. So I whipped out my usual apologies and dispensed one to everyone involved. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. For once, I really was sorry. But this time, instead of forgiving me, Mark stopped speaking to me altogether. My parents didn't buy my apology. My brother didn't want to be my friend anymore. I was like the boy who cried wolf. I'd screwed up so much without changing my behavior that no one actually believed my contrition anymore. I couldn't apologize my way out of this situation because everyone knew that my apologies were meaningless. That's when it struck me that I'd been writing bad apology checks for years, and now they were bouncing. My apology credit with my family had run out. I was broke. My words had no value. At that moment, I realized that I couldn't just say I was sorry. I had to actually be sorry. I had to demonstrate how sorry I was and make sure that it would never happen again. A true apology in this situation could never be expressed in words, no matter how well crafted. It had to be an emotional, sincere, and observable change in behavior. There is an implied commitment when you apologize for something, a promise that you won't do it again. My uncle's advice was only half of the story. Saying I'm sorry isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card. It's just the first step towards making a change. But a real, genuine apology can be incredibly effective. People are afraid to admit when they're wrong and take that hit. But the ability to confess your mistakes and take steps to address your behavior is at the foundation of every real relationship. So, normally I wouldn't stand here, but I feel like I need the microphone because there's a lot of you, and so I'm going to do that. But first of all, thanks for listening to that, and thanks for being here again. I wanted to write this book, which is weird for me to do and say, but you guys know I've been doing a lot of weird stuff the last few years, and meeting strange people and helping them with their unusual situations, and I guess people have kind of started looking to me as some kind of expert of internet relationships in the digital age. And I'm not. I'm really not. In fact, I thought it was funny that people wanted my advice for their relationships after seeing how poorly I had done in my own online relationship. Why turn to me, the guy who was duped, for answers on how to get unduped yourself? And then it started kind of to hit me that what people liked about Catfish, the documentary, and how I had handled the situation was that I had been kind, that I had been in a situation that was difficult and in many cases upsetting, but had shown compassion and sympathy and chosen to conduct myself in a way that I could be proud of and wasn't negative or mean-spirited. And that was what was so amazing, to see how the reaction from people when you listen to them and when you show someone else that you care enough to listen to them and hear what they have to say. And so I really wanted to encourage people, both young and old, anyone who's seen the show or not seen the show, to consider the power of that. Obviously the power of apology and friendship, because we're all really wrapped up in social media and relating to each other and how we engage and disengage and being popular and being liked. And it's confusing. Already on top of what is a confusing world that we live in with plenty of problems and issues, and we all have our own fears and concerns. And I think we should all be talking more and listening more and being more sincere and genuine and vulnerable and hopefully communicating with each other in more meaningful ways than digital can withstand. So that's why I wrote this book. It's fun also, because I have had a lot of fun. It's very personal and revealing. You guys will definitely read some things that you didn't know and maybe didn't want to know about me. But it's totally me. And I don't think you get all that on the show because it's very specific and it's only 42 minutes and there's a whole story that we have to deal with. So I wanted to share that my journey to this stage has been difficult and awkward and uncomfortable, and I've made a ton of mistakes, I've hurt a lot of people, but I've really learned from it, and if I can hopefully share some of that view and suggest things that maybe will help you end up on your own stage someday doing something that makes you nervous and also very excited, then that would be a huge victory for me and a triumph for hopefully all of us. So again, thank you all so much. We're going to do some questions from you now, but this is a real honor, and I just think it's so amazing that you're here and that you're sharing this with me, so thanks.